just leaving work and getting into my little Citroen. So this is the Citroen C3, and although it's new, that engine doesn't sound new. It's very diesel sounding. Now look, I'm not going to complain about fuel economy here. I've done nearly 500 kilometers on a half a tank. That's a-okay by me, right? Because it's a light car, and you know, you can drive these sort of things, light cars like this, quite some distance. So this one is powered by the 1.6 litre diesel engine. It's only puts out 89 grams of CO2, which is very good, which means €180 tax per year in this country currently. That may change, although tax hasn't actually gone up in the budgets in a while. So we're looking to get, we'll get smacked with something eventually, I'm sure. But it means the car is very kind of at odds with itself. Let me explain that one. You see, I'm in a small 5-door hatch, right? It's like a super mini style car. It's cute. It revs really well, but it sounds very laboured. Okay, so it's quick enough, but listen. There's just no punch. There's no oomph in it. It needs more torque. And I know there's a fine balance between emissions, fuel economy, NOx. All these things have to be cared for, along with making sure that I get 1,000 kilometers from a tank of fuel. But therein lies your problem. You kind of subtract fun from the element once you start subtracting and trying to get better CO2 emissions and fuel economy. That's not to say the car isn't fun to drive. Yeah, it is, until you want to really overtake something, or you know, something like that. Then it's a bit more difficult. What is prevalent in it is that TikTok. And leave that settle with you for a minute, because I'm turning a corner. It's going to go off again. Now, in almost every other car on earth that I've ever driven, it goes tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. In other words, a higher note is first and a lower note is second. Now, that used to be an actual relay behind the dashboard that went tick-tock, because it was actually going on and off. Tick-tock, tick-tock. These days it's not quite that way. But Citroen's indicator sound is tock, tick-tock, 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 tick. It's the low note first. Listen. See who's paying attention to this sort of stuff out there. You got to pay attention to the details. That's a very quality tick that I got from that little note that's there. But okay, so what do I really like? What I really like is design. This is beautiful to look at in here. Absolutely gorgeous interior. Yeah, that's kind of where it ends though. Okay, so the gorgeous interior is beautiful and it rides well. And it's very fuel efficient. 3 point something litres per 100 kilometers is kind of my average, but I don't know whether I trust that or not, but it sounds very low. But I seem to be getting very high mileage from the fuel tank. I love the layout of things here. It's very pretty. The steering is sharp but pleasantly weighted. It's fine at lower speeds. Higher speeds it's a bit finicky. Whatever I touch and feel is all gorgeous. Demerit points. Number 1, the heating controls are on the touchscreen. Nope. 9, this is verboten. You shall not do this. Don't do that. Put the heating controls out on their own knobs and dials. You may think that you just press the auto button and that's the end of that, and it's lovely, and you engineering technical kind of guys out there will go, oh sure, it's not being done. But it means that I have to look away from that, from out there, where the actual screen is, where real things crash into me, and I crash into real things if I look away from out there. That shouldn't be there. That should be on its own controls outside, okay? Now, fortunately, that's optional, so don't worry about it. You may spec it as you please, ladies and gentlemen, so get that out of there, right? But besides that, Pretty much everything else on the touchscreen is okay. So I have a radio up here, which is doing fine. I have sat nav, which is there as well, and I have telephone. Sat nav is a tad laggy, okay? So, and laggy, I mean like there's just not enough RAM, or the processor's not able to keep up when you start pressing buttons. It seems to kind of lag behind. Perhaps it needs a very little graphical touch. I'm sorry, there is a lot of sun on one camera and not on the other, so we're okay. We'll stop talking that. We'll start talking to one outside. Now the cabin is fairly quiet. I'm doing 100 kilometers an hour at the moment. It's relatively quiet in here. I can hear the engine drone. I can't hear road roar from the tires. Not really. That's quite pleasant. I quite like that. I can't hear the cars passing by. So it's like it's well insulated in here. I quite like the insulation factor of it. So where's my thinking on this? I think this would make a really good little petrol runabout for city stuff. I don't think it really suits this diesel engine, but it's an Irish market, which is kind of funny. We're sort of hung up on diesel, so I get it as to why diesel has to be offered. The weakest link in here is the gearbox. It is the French 5-speed one, and the throw on the gearbox is massive. The gate is huge. It doesn't give you any idea of sportiness or rapid progression. Right? It's very sluggish. Now it's probably very light, and it's probably very cheap to put in as well because it's Citroen's own gearbox. But Citroen does buy in another gearbox from BMW. It's a 6-speed one, and it's gorgeous, crisp, bang on, little small, click, 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 and the way she goes is lovely. The 5-speed one, not so much. That said, some people will like this particular model. I love the looks of this. I'm just not convinced on that engine gearbox combo attached to it, and the touch screen with the heating control is a bit of a letdown as well. I don't like that. I know guys, you press that and you press auto, and that's pretty much all the buttons you're ever going to press in there as well, but it's a simple thing. You just want to change the temperature and you have to click into one screen and the other, and you need to open up this thing and open up that thing, and it's just a pain. If it stops me looking out that window, it can't be done, okay? And I have to equal it out as well in the fact that I tore a hole in Peugeot for doing exactly the same thing, putting the heating controls on the screen, so it's only fair I do it to Citroen as well. And any other company who does it as well, you'll find that I don't like that sort of change. I think familiar controls within a car are far more beneficial for a safety purpose than trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to reinvent how we interact with things around us. I think the traditional thing of having a speedo, rev counter, 2 gauges there for fuel and temperature, here is a radio, in that might be sat nav and telephone, and then attached down here is heating controls I can just turn up and down without ever looking out the window. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this review. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, a share, and a subscribe wherever possible. And until the next time, I will see you on the far side.
Bob Flavin, testing cars, so you don't have to.